Gossip.
That's how you learn things.
Now we know. Sorry. Don't tell.
Tell the truth. Gossip.
That's what you do.
Don't tell these ones.
I shall.
So much better. What was this little girl? I felt it happen. Oh, I think maybe that's
You know what they say. I'm gonna get a little bit hurt. Hurt?
Got that a while ago.
Hey, that's great. Oh, man. Models. There's no wrong placement.
You put the singing up there, right? No, what you want to? No, you're singing and you're doing stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That's rhythmical. You don't put yourself on the board today. Okay. So this group has to, sorry.
I think so. Yeah, and we're gonna do a little reflection on this, and we're gonna
Remember when show Paul Ray Rayner?
yeah.
The shovels in the duck. So put that all over the salt.
But there was Chauncey's version and then Ray's version of the crafts. Do you remember? And Ray's versions were always like, once he said we had to put it up, I'm like, why did I continue writing Post-its?
Dreaming. Hey, that's great. I never thought of that as dreaming as a learning opportunity.
I was there doing it.
Wow. Dancing. Making a cake. Driving your car. Look at all. Just kind of scan there.
Gossip and feeling again.
Something, yeah. Praying. Oh, I like that. That's true. Which one of these has the most? Can you tell? Just by looking. Body kinesthetic.
Visual and.
That's great. Visual spatial's got quite a few. It's great. Which we've talked about some of them, but anyone in particular kind of catch your eye? Sat in a class. It's not under kinesthetic either. Sitting for 8 hours in a classroom. Trying to learn something. Duh.
Somebody put the reflecting in
No one wrote recess.
Next to where you're looking, is that in bodily consent? Oh, or bike, by the bike, cat, plant a garden, okay.
I couldn't make out the mic.
Which appear to be a little thin for us as a group, over the two on the right. I bet you we have more in there we just thought.
Well, I think like, talking could be talking to yourself.
Talking to yourself,
Oh, gee.
All right, so you see what we mean by the different ways of acquiring intelligence. And little sidebar here, this is not, what I'm about to say is not, there's no solid scientific research behind it, just a kind of hunch. So that maybe different cultures are stronger in one or the other. And you kind of wonder, do the Chinese people learn differently than Americans? Do the folks from Latin America learn differently than the folks from Europe? And there's no, it's kind of an interesting thought, but there's no research that says that's true. There is research that says that every culture has all of these, but the idea that one would have more than another is not solid. There's not enough data to suggest it. But maybe you want to think about that.
Well, there were certain cultures that didn't have access to the internet, then they wouldn't have that portion. Just because they don't have access to it to begin with. I mean, there are parts of the world where they don't have that.
But they do have visuals like nature.
True.
And they can observe and see.
As far as having more or anything, more or less.
On a per capita basis, the world's best computer programmers are from India. And I explain that, you know. And some have said it's because there's something about they acquired the mathematical, logical skills. I can't explain it, but it's kind of interesting. That's why we're always trying to import, and have Indians come in and work in the software.
Which I think is called McDonald's. They have a lot of shops.
There we go. All right, well, we won't go there, Jim. That might, you see, we're kind of falling off now. Now, I indicated that in more recent writing, Gardner's added a ninth, and I'll just tell you what it is. It's he calls it the existentialist. Karen, can you explain it at all? I don't have a clue. As I said, he started with 7, he added the naturalist, now he's added existentialist. And is it experiential?
It has more, I thought it had to do with spirituality.
Spirituality.
Yeah.
Spiritual learning. Well, why didn't he call it that?
I think therefore I am kind of.
It's more of the ESP genre. It's the more the meditative. But I would put that mostly under intrapersonal if I were to describe it. Anyway, my point is that there might be other ways. There might be even other intelligence, folks. And but we'll go with these 8 for now. Yes, Susan.
See, that would make sense though, because like there are some that have that natural sixth sense, you know, and it's not intuitive. It's something that, like the mediums and the psychics and things, so that would be. Wouldn't that be a separate layer of intelligence?
He has now claimed that to be.
Yeah.
I am not yet convinced myself, but I don't have to be convinced. I would have put that under intrapersonal.
Okay.
Because I think that's kind of it's an aspect of that. But hey, you know.
Well, I think you could learn to connect yourself. But you're right, it could be a know thyself type thing, but I think that takes it to another level where a lot of people say, well, you know, right now we have your dreams, and then you could start, I don't know, like there's some people who travel in their dreams to different destinations in the world, so or being like psychic to try to get those intuition or that energy, like more light seekers or something.
Is it true they say we all have that?
Yeah.
We just kind of connected to it.
So it could be in it.
You have to connect it, that's the problem.
It's weak.
It's weak.
It's weak.
It's weak.
You
We're
have
weak,
it.
weak.
You have it.
I have a possibility.
Everybody has that.
Well, that's a good point. To what degree are you interested in cultivating your learning capacity in all of this, or at least in ones that? And after we take a break, I'm going to give you a chance to do your own assessment on this, and let you think about how you want to move forward. Last thing here before we take a break, and I was trying to come up with a way to hold these in my mind. And I'm always trying to come up with little things. So, logical mathematical are the thinkers. The verbal linguistic are the readers. The body kinesthetic are the tinkerers. Tinkerers. The visual spatial are the seers. Not to be confused with seers, but I guess you could put them there as well, but seers. The musical rhythmic are the hearers. The interpersonal are the players. The intrapersonal intelligence, this is pretty poor. I came up with the beers. But I couldn't come up with anything for the naturalist environment, so help me out. What would you call these folks?
The fillers.
The feelers.
Yeah.
Oh, good, the feelers. I like that. Any other thoughts? The what?
Earthiers.
Yeah, earthiers. Earthiers.
Earthiers. It's new word.
All right.
I was just thinking that also like people with disabilities, like visual impairment or hearing impairment, they may be naturally stronger in one of those than the others, because like if you can't really see, you can really smell really well. The other senses sort of take over and compensate for the deficiency.
There's a lot of research on that, and you're absolutely right. And of course, Helen Keller is probably the best example of that, of not having at least 3 of these. She still excelled in a lot of others. After she, she got a little help there.
So does it seem like if you come up with any new ones, they basically will fall into one of these categories? Like say you pick imagination as a tool. Imagination might fall into intrapersonal. So is that what you're saying? Is
Yeah.
these 9 are, these are?
That would be my approach. But Jim, I don't have a PhD in all this, so cut me some slack there.
Well, our character actually has, figured out what parts of your brain are related to these. And so when he finds something like he doesn't think it fits, then he's also trying to find out, he's got this criteria.
Oh.
Where does it fit in terms of the brain? And he's got about 4 or 5 criteria.
Yeah, actually, I think he has more. And I mean, and his work is got some scientific solidness.
And it's been around 30
And
years.
it's been around 30 years. And he keeps adding and modifying and updating and so on and so forth. By the way, I forgot to mention that these 2 books, our colleague David Lazier, an old friend of ours, has written, and this was before the naturalist intelligence was written about, different ways of teaching. And again, this is not just adults. I mean, and I probably learned more on the playground than I did in the classroom.
You said something that I was thinking, different ways of teaching. And what's going on in my mind when you have probably 20, 30 students, just to be able to know certain things to facilitate adult learning, that's quite a bit.
Yep.
So how do you facilitate the adult learning by probably analyzing that?
Okay, now, good point. And one of the things under the rubric of Karen and I trying to model, and we're going to challenge you a little bit today and more the next time we meet. When you prepare, remember your assignment with the last class, you're all going to, with a partner, 2 of you are going to teach the rest of us in one of the chapters of the Pink Book. We're going to challenge you to activate all 8 intelligences as you do it. How are we going to sing the lesson? How are we going to dance the lesson? How are we going to role play the lesson? That will be the challenge. In other words, Richard, I say ideally, and the circumstances don't give you permission to do this all the time. How would you teach everything such that you activated all 8 intelligences so that you would have increase the capacity to target everybody in your group? And again, our basic classroom education that we all grew up with hits primarily the 2 on the left. Nothing wrong with it, but some of us learn better than the other 6. And so, why do kids not make it sometimes? They're more pronounced over more on the right.
On the singing one,
Yep.
it seems like if you look at advertisements as they go now, they're trying to target a lot of commercials with songs from the 60s and 70s and 80s, because that music is stimulating the people that are also stimulated by the visual side. So they're getting them both ways. They're getting them visually, and then they're having music that they can relate to.
Well, can anybody right now, off the top of your head, hum or whistle or sing advertising jingle?
Hudson 32700.
Oh, yes, or what's the garble?
588-300.
Empire! See? It works! That's how. You want a garbage? So, I mean, Madison Avenue is way ahead of public education.
So that's why a blind student can sit in class and the instructor is able to facilitate learning by focusing on, as you stated, with the program instruction, you're dealing with all activities.
Well, if that instructor is
Well,
if that instructor is sensitive to the situation, yes.
in undergrad, there was a blind student in the class.
It would certainly challenge me if I was in a situation. But this says, yeah, how would you sing your lesson? Okay, you get the idea.
Can I ask a question?
Certainly.
In the first one, I was just wondering, is that the one you said when someone, you asked a question, they said they haven't come up with the answer yet? Was that the one?
Or
They're processing it all.
they're processing it.
Because, I was thinking about one of my sons, I'll ask him a question, just any question, he said, I haven't thought about that yet. And so I stand there and I wait. And I said, so what do you think now? I'm still thinking. And I said, oh, okay. It's taking this long? I mean, I'm just asking you whether you want wheat bread or white bread. I mean, but I guess in his own way, it's a process going on, in his head. And I think about, also when he's sitting in the classroom, how is that turned on? It's a light switch, probably. I'm thinking, how is that turned on?
Well,
When it comes to learning, being in a learning environment.
very good. And I think SNL has provided a lot of clues there, and we made full fun of this self-reflection earlier. But I think even in the lower grades, I think it would be prudent of any teacher to provide quiet time and a chance for the students to, in some way or another, express or be given time to just think about what they learned today. Maybe it's like hitting the save button on a computer. How many have sat there for a whole hour composing, your great letter or whatever report, and forget to hit the save button and you lose it all? We need to give the kids a chance to hit the save button when they're learning. And that may be simply 5 or 10 minutes at the end of the day, where maybe they keep a journal, learning journal, or maybe they write something down, maybe they draw a picture. Draw a picture of what you learned today. I don't know what it is, but too often we don't have it because we're rush.
And that can apply also to adult learning.
Of course.
Is that why we have like the 30-minute session thing?
Well, I don't know. If you have any more questions, it's getting to be about 20. No, actually not. Your self-reflection is those things you have to post by Wednesday. In the Dropbox. Okay, guys, let's take a break. Come back at 2:30. We're going to give you a few more things here, and then we're going to give you, introduce your final class project and get you into some teams and give you some chance to work together, okay?
Sometimes when I go to seminars, they go fast. And I'm keeping up, and it's really, really good. And then it gets to a part that I miss, and it's like I want to stop them, but they keep going. It's like, I really want to know this part, but you're going too fast right now. I was getting it all up to this point. And you don't want to stop them, because everybody else seems like they're getting it. It's like, I'm learning how I am.
I think that varies with some of the classes. I'm interested.
It's like a total class.
What?
You are going late. As a presenter. You never thought of that.
Well, I had thought of it, it really got, I mean, I hadn't thought of something, I even forgot, I about how in the same way.
11th grade, my geometry teacher was out 2 weeks of medical, I taught around class.
It is my illustrations
And that was in
human behavior
when I was
on different levels. And that's what I remember Dan telling us that people are
I learned a lot.
in one way. Is you really look at how much is involved in the actual people before they miss a big piece of that part. So that's what's in this whole theme of this is learn more about them. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that part.
Yes.
Do you go into what Firefox means?
I usually use Firefox.
Because there can all be some just contribute to that.
Got a lot of stuff to carry.
take it on, okay, so far?
Yeah, I probably need to, thank you. I probably need to put it on, but so far so good.
Oh, okay.
Find the toys, okay?
And another method we discussed in the group.
And methods moments, right? How many methods moments did we have that we were presented?
Action plan.
Five. 5 in one group and 4 in the other, that's 9. We've had 12 methods today. That go towards your methods toolkit, right? 12 methods today. So what came to you as new? Something that you learned today? Something you didn't know before?
But
Susan?
the multiple intelligences, I've not heard of that
Mhm.
before. I mean, not to the depth you went.
So what's new about that for you?
Well, I knew that there was the intrapersonal, interpersonal with the others, you know, and then the logical. I understood those, but I didn't know that there were more, that many more. And that it's still growing, that they're developing more.
And just to look at people differently, and you think, I mean, if you find yourself thinking, they're kind of stupid. Well, wait a minute, what do I mean? Where am I coming from? What am I missing? It's not them. What was new for the rest of you?
I realize my nephew, my youngest nephew, whatever he does, he has a pencil or pen. And
Okay.
I kind of understand now why.
Yes. And why do you think that is?
He's body connect.
Oh, body kinesthetic, okay. Yeah. He has to have something in his hand.
Yeah, he has to have something in his hand. He's learning, he's working towards something.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe he was logical or linguistic too.
That too, yeah.
Because whatever he does with his pencil.
He just sits with,
But it's fiddling with it and, does he doodle?
sometimes, but he's mainly just, you know, if he's reading a book, he's.
I've seen some, study that says 60% of us are mostly visual. And 30% of us are mostly verbal. And 10% are mostly kinesthetic. So there's a lot of different ways to look at it, but we're all of them, but we tend to have one a little more strong, and so that's his strength, is kinesthetic.
And then I also realize all the people that I know, when they want to explain something to you, they get a pen and want to draw.
Yes. Yes, I was sitting next to Hazel looking at her chart, and she immediately drew pictures. And some of us just like, we remember in the first session when we said, on the business card to draw a picture, and some of you just got wet. Who, me? And so some of us are more the visual, spatial, and some of us, that's a weakness that we can strengthen at some point. I can remember drawing pictures when I was in first and second grade, and I couldn't build one.
Yeah, I did a research paper about that, and it showed that they did testing on a group of students, and half of the students were given a diagram for the test, and the other half had to draw the diagram. The ones that drew the diagram on the piece of paper before they took the test did better than the people that were handed the diagram, and they were this diagram. So, like I said, the visual, when she writes something down, she connects with it right away, far better than somebody just giving you something.
Exactly. So what was a point of high enthusiasm for you today? The energy was high.
side.
Everyone's posting their stuff.
Okay. See some nods on that one? How about below? Everything's kind of got slow and right now it's low. Oh, go ahead. Okay, so what's one takeaway for today that you're going to take, you hope you remember, you think you can apply it?
I'm taking away this version of charting a project rather than charting linear. Thank you. See, I don't even like the word.
This being what? The presentation?
The participatory
Participatory presentation, way of preparation for participatory
presentation.
presentation.
PP, participatory presentation, okay? Another takeaway.
I'm taking away the ability to track my intelligence and also importantly, rank it and just focus on areas that you need to improve. I really like that.
Or being able to, I think as part of our assignment, but using all of these different
Right.
ways to connect to learners.
I think what's nice with this is that you can go one step further and start connecting what two do you think belong together.
Yes.
And then you can even say which three belong together, and then you start to see how one helps the other one.
Yeah, he's already put, 4 or 5 of them together with them twos, and so you can even think of less, right? Great, great. Okay, so let's just review our homework for the next time. Can you bring that up? I'm going to have you bring it up in such a way that it's on DTL this way, so we aren't clear here. We'll change it right now, so we're clear, right?
Is this it?
This is it.
Okay.
Okay, so if we're unclear, I think you can edit it there. Now, if you put it, you got a different one up, that's all right. So, don't change it. So,
Sorry.
posting your reflection on today. You're used to that now. Everybody's doing that, that's good. It goes immediately to the Dropbox.
And that's for Wednesday.
Yes, for Wednesday. Some of them we've opened up a little farther because we got nervous about the dates, but we like it by the next Wednesday, and it's good for you to do it by then. Post your participatory presentation, which you fill out the worksheet on your theme, and you write your reflections, and you put them on the discussion board. All right?
How do they post a participatory presentation?
It's an attachment.
It's an attachment?
Yeah, because you type it up. And you
Type it up.
Yeah. Post your participatory presentation of the filled out worksheet as an attachment. Can you type that in? No, you can't. Okay. Yeah, that.
Okay, sorry.
And then chart your assigned chapter of pink and bring it to the next class. Now, in a moment, I'm going to tell you what your assigned chapter is. This is the chapter that you're going to teach in week 5. Okay? So for week 4, you will have a chart of your chapter that you'll bring to class. You do not have to post it, but you can, because we all learn from it. But you bring it to class. And then the 4th one is to review your sample toolkit on DTL as you review the sample toolkit as you create your own. And that toolkit will be due the week after the 5th class, which is August 17th. So the 5th class is August, 10th. Did you get that?
So there is a sample toolkit I need to look.
So now let's look at the sample toolkit. Okay, this is online. Now I want to tell you, there are 4 places that say sample toolkit, and I'm going to try to learn how to delete 3 of them. But the one that is in capital letters is the one that actually, the others come out blank.
Yeah.
Okay, the one that says sample toolkit that's in caps brings this up to you. Okay, so this is, go to the table of contents of who's next, Jim. Keep going there. So you will find, if you go to your syllabus, remember the syllabus that tells you about the course, there's a paragraph that says what's in your methods toolkit. And so in your methods toolkit, you are going to do at least 3 methods. You're going to put into your toolkit 3 methods that you've learned here in class. So what out of everything you've learned in the 4 sessions, 5 sessions by then, that you've learned that you thought were helpful, you could, this is 4, but you can put 3, at least 3. And if you want to put 6, it's okay, but don't make it hard on yourself. Then you should research additional methods that you think are going to be helpful to you that you put in. And again, you put in 3. So you must have at least 3 methods learned in class and at least 3 additional methods that you have learned from your own research.
Are you reading off the syllabus?
I am. I'm reading that directly from the syllabus.
And the methods moment we did this morning, that was one of them. One down, 2 to go.
Of the class methods.
Yeah. Well, no, would you consider those class methods?
Well, those are.
No, I would say, Karen, anything we have shared in class.
That
goes
you and I
in
have
there.
demoed.
Right. But
Okay.
if they have found it on their own, it goes at the bottom. And the methods moment you presented this morning, you found on your own, it goes down there.
Or if you said, I like somebody else's that they presented this morning.
Grab it.
You can find.
The ones that we presented to everyone, are we supposed to post those, or?
Yes, they're supposed to be posted. Every one of you this morning that did methods, it should be posted. So that everybody else can, again, that's learn from you.
But if we posted it last week, it's already up
It's still
there.
there.
Okay.
Yeah, it's still there. But some people haven't yet.
Oh,
Okay? Now, when you post these 3, you should cite the source of the method. You know, we're in an age of, you pull it from everywhere, you want exactly, a couple times you've said to us, now where did you get that? You know? To cite the method. So now Jim, go on down to, let's get to, example, keep going. You're going too fast, huh? Can you go just to the bottom of the page? No. There. So here's.
Oh, I see.
Stop. Okay, so you are writing, so here is a citing. This one came from courtesy of Bo Basil Bowden, doctor from Columbia College. So this came from some research done online. So it's cited there. Don't go, huh? So here's what and why. So here, for each of the 6, for each of the 6, provide a detailed explanation of its purpose and use, and how you will use each one in your own personal practice. Now, this is more for you than it is for, but put this into your toolkit, so later you say, why in the world did I put this in here? You know, or as you're putting it in, you'll say, the importance for me is what? Okay, you got that? And include in the toolkit an assignment using the symphony chart to be explained next week. We're going to introduce the symphony method next week. Okay? All right, what are you showing now, Jim? Everything?
So this presentation is on D2L. We can review it. Nothing of this is for our final project.
It is your final project.
And is this, are we supposed to just go by that table of contents and just create each sheet, put it in a booklet? Yes, final project, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So there's a table of contents. You use it. You make your own cover. You make your own table of contents. And then what comes next, Jim? And then here is the method, and here's the explanation, and the bottom of the page is the citation. Now, we don't care that it's this, looks like this. We just make sure that each one has this information.
And that's going to be what you're going to give us today. You're going to give us a chart of a chapter, and that's going to be the one that we're going to use for our final.
Okay, that's separate. Okay, this is your toolkit.
Okay.
You will have, this is right now a Word document. It's like 10, 15 pages long, I don't know. And it's laying out the tools that you plan to use, okay? That's your final project. That's due the week after the last class. Okay, now we'll step back and we'll say for week 5, what we want you to do. Here are the pink assignments. This is back to, starting to assign chapter pink. Okay, pink presentations. So we're going to stay chapters 4, 5, 6, 8, and 9. And this is the teams that are going to meet and do that. Michelle and Mary are going to do chapter 4 on design. 4 of pink. Okay? What's that? Does it say 4? 4. And I tried to put this, there's a link in your, right now it says session 5 assignments and it's blank. And I tried to put it in and I haven't been able to put it in. I'll work on that. Chapter 5 stories. Susan and Jonna are going to do story. Chapter 6 symphony. Jim and Denise. All right. Chapter 8 play. Richard and Takora. And chapter 9 meaning. Hazel and Barbara.
I have a question.
Yes.
One, we're doing it together as a group or individually?
We're doing it together.
Team teach.
So I want you to meet the two of you together today and say to your, you might want to exchange phone numbers and email addresses so that you can be in contact with each other. Next week when you come in, you'll come in with your chart of this chapter of pink that you're assigned to. And
combination?
Well, you can share it with each other and start talking about, okay, now, as we've charted this and looked at this chapter together, what do we think we could do
Well,
to the group?
Does each person do a different chart of the same chapter?
Each person does a different chart of the same paper, and change the chapter.
Okay, so
Right.
Denise and I will each make a chart for chapter 6, and when we come back in 2 weeks, we're going to do a presentation on that chapter.
Exactly. No, when you come back in 2 weeks, you're going to have some time to meet together and plan, how do you do a 30-minute presentation
On that.
for week 5?
Okay.
Okay,
Session 5.
So it's 4 weeks from today that you actually do the presentation. It's a month from today.
4 weeks.
Do you get that?
4 weeks? Okay.
Next week again in 2 weeks,
Next week is week 4, in 2 weeks.
but we don't do the presentation in 2 weeks. 2 weeks
Until
after that, for final class, we do the presentation.
And so that's 4 weeks from today.
So we bring our chart.
You bring your chart in, so you can determine.
And that all this will be updated.
So in 2 weeks, we bring the chart and in 4 weeks.
All this will be updated. Well, that's-
It's in your night, and you also can look at your, the team project is on page 7. It says participants will be organized in teams to create a presentation on adult learning strategies. Each team designs and delivers to the rest of the class a 30-minute presentation on a chapter of the pink book. Okay? This presentation includes both the information in the chapter and various adult facilitated techniques learned through the course. Each team member plays a role in the presentation. So there's 2 of you. And so both of you play a role. Somebody said, can I just do 15 minutes of the 30 minutes? We can work it out. But you might have one person start and one person do 15 minutes and another person do 10 minutes. I mean, you could do it back and forth. But Jim and I do. We do it back and forth.
Are we allowed to put it on a stick and just put it in that computer or what? Our presentation?
Yes.
Are you allowed to do PowerPoints and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, the flash drive stick. We can use your thing there to bring our own laptops, you know.
Yeah, there's a place to stick it in, right?
Right. Okay.
So you can do videos, you can do PowerPoints,
Okay.
etc. All right? Teams have time in session 4. Next week we'll give you, I think it's at 2 o'clock. We give you time from 2 to 4 o'clock to work on your presentation. it also says here, we strongly recommend that each team meet for a dress rehearsal before the presentation day.
Practice.
Practice. So it's one thing, you know, you get it all figured out, and it's another thing to kind of walk through it as if you're really doing it and you're thinking through what the responses of the group are.
And the presentation is due August 10th.
August 10th.
We actually do.
You actually do the presentation on August 10th.
Is this what we're gonna upload for number 2?
Yes.
Just this one sheet, two-sided, or is it sheet there?
One side.
Okay, yeah.
The other side just gives you
Well,
instructions.
we'll be,
Okay. Charter assigned chapter, or just do this one?
Filled it. Okay, are we okay? You think we're clear?
Do I think I'm clear on what chapter it is on? Do you see that?
You're right.
4.
Michelle, 4.
Not 8 or 9.
4.
Another one. Okay, so this one, number 2, is not what you did in class. That was Rockwell. This one is where you choose your own presentation that you think that you could do something similar. It's not Rockwell. Rockwell was practice. Now you come up with one that you're really going to, you think you'll use somewhere.
We can use any one we want.
Any subject you want.
presumably one that you're actually going to be doing sometime, hopefully in the future.
Keep in mind what would be helpful that you should actually think about that you might do in the near future that you're passionate about. What else? Any questions?
Just a reflection is the standard way we've been doing our reflections.
Standard, just like we've done so far. We've had great ones, great reflections. We've learned from them. And maybe you noticed that we changed. Maybe we didn't. Okay. All right, so what I want you to do now is to get into your team groups. Now, who's not, we've got 2 people that don't have a team, right? Richard knows, he started to 4 this morning. And Miriam and Michelle.
I just gave.
I have Miriam's contact information.
Okay.
If anybody wants to do go-to-meeting for their small teams, I have purchased go-to-meeting for another class. And if you email me, I can give you the login information stuff and you can use it. You just can't you can't use it at the same times because you only have one meeting. It's cool. I'm happy to share it. I had to buy it for another class and it just sits there. You know? But just email me and I'll send you like the login.
How many of you know Skype? You know Skype? You can go on to Skype.com and you can sign up for free. Now please, you can sign up for free. If you both sign up, you can talk to each other for free
And visual and see each other.
and see each other. So you
Go to meeting, you can share your screen. Yeah, yeah. Like, you're the presenter, you can see the other person. It was a mandatory thing for another class, but Skype you can't, like, see the screen, but you can see each other.
Yeah.
So like after work.
It's free and everybody. Okay,
That's
that's
why
all
I
you
do.
Is it for the whole year?
It's for a month. So that's why I figured out, like at lunchtime, I was giving it to some of my coworkers, like, here's the login.
So we're closing class up. We encourage those of you who have your partner here to visit for a little while. Begin to kind of sketch out ideas and so on and so forth. Think about it. But you probably won't be sitting here until 4, be our guest. We'll hang around and close up shop. We're available for consultation until then. So I think we're
After
wrapped
9
up.
methods, we're running almost at 8.
Well,
A good day. A good day.
Okay.
Also, could you all give us your Rockwell papers?
Wednesday, the best reflection, and then do the other stuff.
Check 6.
Okay, that is.
And
stop the camera. It was nice that you.
Both of us, John Ann is going to take it to